One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his step, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful Monday morning. Great to see everyone in the chat, by the way. Let's get it. Obviously, we have a lot to discuss. I'm sure that majority of you guys, probably like a 99% probably knows about what happened over the weekend. But of course, we got to cover what has happened over the weekend leading us into today. So actually, we're not going to be covering much of what happened on Saturday. There was not a huge amount of things that happened in that aspect, but Sunday, yesterday was a big day, of course. So anyways, we have a whole, well, also Saturday too, there was a couple of things, but I think we're only showing shit from, Sunday anyways. Okay. So we have the White House dinner shooting, as you guys know, as well as Trump hosts King Charles. That's supposed to be today. And then Iran's latest. And then of course, let me go ahead and give you guys the chronological breakdown of what we're looking at this morning. And then we'll go ahead and do our call to actions and get into it. So right now, the U.S. is saying Iran has no leader. Now, also something that was very interesting is there was this like big memorial thing, like a wall, a memorial wall, or whatever you guys call them. I'm bad with nomenclature sometimes. But anyways, there's this big wall with all the people of the government officials that have, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever way you guys look at it, have died. So there is pictures of like the supreme leader, all of that shit, and then all the governmental officials around it. His son, the guy that supposedly is taking over the whole regime, he's on that wall too. It's showing that essentially like as if he's dead. I don't know if they did that in the aspect of like, hey, we're gonna honor him. I'm not really sure, but because he lost a leg or something like that, because that's the latest reports that we know about is that he got injured, and the rumor is that he lost his leg. We don't know that to be 100% fact because I haven't seen it. It's only hearsay so far. But anyways, he may not even be alive at this point. So the United States made that claim yesterday. Anyways, then we have Trump says he canceled Witkoff and Kushner's trip to Pakistan for Iran talks. It says on Saturday right here, President Trump told reporters that he has officially canceled U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner's trip to Pakistan. The U.S. delegation was prepared for a second round of negotiations with Iran in Islamabad, Pakistan's capital. But Trump basically came out and said, listen, you guys aren't going to go over there, do an 18-hour flight or whatever. And originally, I think he said that to Vance. Hey, you're not going to go over there and deal with an 18-hour flight for nothing to get done. We're done doing that shit. And he says, we hold the cards. So they'll come to us, essentially. Anyways, moving on into the next one. Inside the White House correspondents' dinner shooting as, quote, lone wolf reportedly targets Trump officials. Now, we also have the footage, the actual footage of him running through and actually shooting the agent. We have that for you guys as well. Reporter recounts moments after alleged White House correspondent shooter detained. So yes, they had the guy detained. Security breach at White House correspondents' dinner under investigation, of course. And then I actually have the video for you guys of what actually happened there. Then we have moving into this morning, or actually, I'm sorry, this one's still from yesterday. Speaker Johnson unveils new spy powers plan ahead of extension deadline. I'm not really sure what that means, by the way. New spy power. I'm not really sure what they're getting at there. We'll find out together, obviously. And then White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting suspect to appear in court. This came out 2 hours ago, okay? Cole Thomas Allen. And it's Thomas, not Thomas. Cole Thomas Allen, the 31-year-old suspect in the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting, is scheduled to be arraigned Monday, which is today, by the way. Holy shit. We're moving quick. Then we have this morning, King Charles and Queen Camilla, I think that's how I say it, set for high-stakes visit. It says President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump welcome King Charles III and Queen Camilla to Washington, D.C. on Monday. The trip will also serve as a mission to steady a relationship tested by disagreements between the UK government and President Donald Trump over issues, including the Iran war. All right, so that's what we're looking at this morning. A lot going on, obviously. Let's go ahead and do our call to actions, and we'll get right into the craziness. Make sure you guys hit that like button, man. It definitely goes a long way. Also, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. Listen, it's absolutely free to do so. And also hitting that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday. And then, of course, Saturday morning for members only. Now, speaking about members, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. Also, we have a Discord server for all of you legends. We love to continue the conversation after the show. Make sure you guys go in the video description down below to grab that link. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that you guys can donate to at any time. And they're scrolling around the screen somewhere for you guys, depending on what side you're on. And I get 100% of the proceeds, and I will read out loud whatever comes our way, just like a super chat, by the way. So I've got my email up, ready to rock and roll. All right. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. All right. So real quick, let me just do a little high and swiftly. I'm going to try anyways. We got Naomi in the building, as well as Jimmy Mack and Charles Darwin. Always appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. We got Warlener as well as Steve Posey. Thank you all for being here. We got Frank as well as Two Wheeled Jesus, Steve Posey, Steve Easy. Good to see you guys. Cameron, good morning to you guys. Rabbit of Chaos, shout out to you. Good morning. I don't see Lucy Ball. She is running around somewhere. Probably, if I had to guess, she's probably actually sleeping. Usually what she does when dad gets on the computer, yeah, she's like, yeah, dad's about to get loud. We got Motobomb Virginia. Shout out to you, by the way. Good morning to you. Always appreciate you. We got Mr. Al Patterson. Yes, sir. Good to see you, man. We got Motobomb Virginia coming in with the 420, by the way. Kickstart your day with Mike B. Well, man, my man, I very much appreciate you setting it in. Showing immense love. I very much appreciate that. Goes a long way. We got Brother Hardwire as well. Shout out to you. Good morning to you. We're running our way down. We got Brother Sick Bastard. Shout out as well. And Brother So Loud as well. Thank you all for being here. Sterling Wheel, shout out. Good to see you. Underboss, appreciate you for being here as well. We're running our way down as fast as possible, guys. I promise. There's a lot of comments. I'm just running my way down. I like to say hi to everybody. I try to, but it's always hard to do it sometimes. We got 5150 as well. Shout out. Good morning. And we got Joseph up there in Canada. We always appreciate our favorite snow Mexican. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right. We got Carney Vanguard as well. Great to see you in the chat as well. And Paul, great to see you guys. Yeah, I think that's Paul. Yes. All right. We're getting into the craziness. We got a lot to discuss this morning. Iran has no leader of the United States. says.
I'm here on this Saturday as we break down all of your top stories.
So, yeah, this part was Saturday evening, by the way.
5 events from across the country and across the world. And of course, the big story that we are following at this hour, take a look on the right-hand side of your screen. That is a live look at this hour over Islamabad, over in Pakistan. I'm going to take that full for you to give you a better look. As you can see, it's all quiet now.
Yes, that's right. Lucy, I'm home.
We have this
that's
aerial
right.
view. We are not getting a look on the ground just yet, but despite President Trump sending his U.S. delegation to Pakistan, Iranian officials are still claiming that there are no planned peace talks with Americans directly, at least not at the moment. The president announced Friday that he would send Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner to Islamabad this weekend for a potential second round of discussions amid that very, very fragile ceasefire. Iran's foreign minister,
right, and which obviously got canceled,
arriving in Islamabad on Friday, as he also says that he plans to visit Oman and Russia. And we actually got this update coming in a short time ago with a photo. This is from an official there in Pakistan who said that
hey, listen, man, if there's no one there to do it, I still wouldn't do it. Yeah, I don't want to be the leader of the United States, let alone, and I'm an America-only ideology kind of guy, right? So I wouldn't want to lead any country. I think that's too fucked.
Prime Minister received the Iran foreign minister today over at the Prime Minister House, and the meeting lasted about 2 hours. Now, along with the Prime Minister there, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Senator, who's the one who posted this here, and the Chief of Army Staff and Chief of Defense Forces, Interior Minister, and other senior officials were also present in that meeting. The Prime Minister emphasizing the importance of dialogue and diplomacy for the peace and stability in the region and beyond. Again, not quite clear when we are going to see Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff arrive there in Islamabad. However,
which has already been canceled.
We also know from the White House that Vice President J.D. Vance is essentially on call, so to speak, to be brought over there to Pakistan if those talks are able to happen.
Right. So I think those guys are there. I believe so. And what Trump was talking about was with Vance, like, hey, we're not gonna waste you going there doing an 18-hour flight over there for nothing to happen, and then an 18-hour flight back. You know, he's like, forget that.
As we discuss really what this all means and what's going to happen next, I do want to bring in Jonathan Saye with the Foundation for Defensive Democracies, an expert here who joins us quite a bit. Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Hi, Josh. It's great to be with you again.
Thank you. And first,
yes, that's very true, Charles. That part is very true. Persian women are very, they can be very fine. Absolutely. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. And we got Charles Adams. Shout out to you over there on the Facebook side of things. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
I want to ask you here the significance of Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff heading over to Islamabad, and essentially, as I mentioned, Vice President J.D. Vance being on call, so to speak, to possibly go out there as well, as Iran's foreign minister is already on the ground.
What's notable this time around is, number one, the Islamic Republic's officials were reluctant to actually come to Islamabad last week, which was when the second round of talks were
Brother Cameron knows the deal.
And that's why the president effectively re-extended the ceasefire without getting any information coming from Tehran. So the Islamic Republic officials have not yet even weighed in as to whether they approve or reject the ceasefire, and they didn't even show up for the first round. And looking at some other reports, we're hearing more and more that there is friction amongst different regime officials on how they're supposed to proceed, what their red lines are.
I would assume that be the case actually on kind of both sides of the aisle.
They're supposed to be negotiating over. And that is not a new phenomenon. There's always disagreements between different pillars of the regime. That said, the notable difference here is that there is no supreme authority that could effectively harmonize the relationship here, which is why we might be seeing contradictory messages coming from this.
Warland, that sucks, man. Go get your rest on, my man. I hate to hear that you're in pain.
Islamic Republic. At the same time, that is Tehran's strategy to delay as much as they can. But the difference here is time is not on their side given the blockade, and that has been an effective countermeasure to ensure that should Tehran waste time, they would be the first to face the repercussions. As to what could happen this evening or the next few days comes down to whether Iran actually wants to give concessions or not. Haven't been tracking this for years now. I yet to really see a difference between this wave versus the negotiations in May 2025 before the 12-day war. The same themes are reappearing, so we just have to wait and see, but so far no difference, at least from.
All right, cool. Sounds good, homie. You did a good job. Let's go ahead and see if there's any other information on this. Let's see if there's any governmental officials that are making posts. There is something here, Iran International English. Let's go ahead and hear what Josh has to say about this real quick.
Less advanced. ships, and their only aim is to come and to extort different vessels that are going through, either try to blow them up if they don't pay, and just go about it in a very unconventional way, simply to extort, to make money, and not operate within the international norms. And that's how this
Okay, stop talking so homeboy can read this.
RGC's Navy operates. What they either try to,
We know this. Please.
as frankly, nature of these is they just, or they'll just, Somalia nation state public does behave.
Dude, he doesn't shut up.
Would face this
There we
morning.
go.
It's Iran International English saying that Iran's headquarters there warned that the U.S. would face a response if it continues what it described as a blockade, banditry, and piracy in the region. In a statement, the command said that U.S. forces would meet, quote, a reaction from Iran's powerful armed forces if such actions persist. It added Iran is ready to monitor movements in the region and maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz and would inflict heavier losses in case of further attacks. Now, Jonathan, what are you going to be watching for?
All right, now I don't need to hear what he's going to be watching for. We already know what to be watching for. All right, we're moving on. Trump says he canceled Witkoff and Kushner's trip to Pakistan for Iran talks. So I kind of, the way that Josh made it sound, and the other guy there, made it sound like Kushner and Witkoff were already there. But it sounds like they weren't there. Anyways, here we go. We're going to hear some background noise. I guarantee it, because it looks like they're over there by Air Force One or something. We'll see. It's coming up.
Probably heard that we canceled the trip. We have all the cards. We're not going to spend 15 hours in airplanes all the time going back and forth to be giving a
Pause and read what?
document that was not good enough. And so we'll deal by telephone, and they can call us anytime they want.
Yeah, Steve, I really don't know what to think of it quite yet. I have the actual footage of the shooting, which we're gonna review here in a bit. And I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts during that.
Again, we have all the cards. They have no military left, practically. They have no leaders left. We don't know who the leaders are.
Yeah, it's a rare good audio situation out there on the tarmac.
Nobody knows who the leader. I don't think they know who the leaders are, very importantly. So you saw that. And any other questions?
Yeah, sure. What have you heard from Pakistan? The Iran's foreign minister was in Pakistan yesterday night.
I think Pakistan is terrific. I think the field marshal is fantastic.
I understand what you were saying, Steve Posey. Yeah, no, I get you now. That's funny.
I think the prime minister of Pakistan is great. And, they'd like to see something happen. But we're not going to be traveling 15, 16 hours to have a meeting with people that nobody ever heard of before.
What changed to make you make that decision?
Too much travel. And when they say the meeting's scheduled for Tuesday, I said, Tuesday, that's a long time from now. But when you get right down to it, it's a lot of traveling. No, we don't want to do that.
At what point do you send Witkoff and Kushner and send
Yeah, it's an 18-hour flight.
Vice President Vanson? At what point are
Well,
you
we
going to be
would.
ready?
They're all very competent, all three. Those are three good. But they weren't meeting with the leader of the country. They were meeting with other people. And I said, we're just not going to do it. Too much traveling, takes too long.
For too little.
Expensive. I'm a very cost-conscious person.
Mr. President, you said
Not unless it's this war.
this week that you're not a fan of prediction markets and that they're turning the country into a casino. But at the same time,
I'm not.
that you're not a fan of prediction.
Well, I don't know. I know some people that are very smart. They like it. They disagree, but they like it. But what would you like to know? Who are you with?
I'm with Decrypt, a crypto-focused publication, and we also have a prediction market.
He said good.
And, your administration.
He was waiting for him to say like ABC. That's exactly what he was waiting for.
Is aggressively pushing to legalize these markets, and I was wondering if you potentially wanted to reconsider that policy.
A lot of other countries are doing it, and when the other countries do it, we get left out in the cold if we don't do it. So, but I know people that are in the prediction market business, and they're pretty.
Crypto. What made you decide to go and attend this meme coin conference today?
It's a big industry, and we want to beat China at the industry. We're leading with crypto. We're leading with AI. And I really feel I have an obligation from this. As a president, I have to be able to make sure that all of our industries do well. Crypto is a big industry. It's become somewhat mainstream. The banks have it. People have it. And I think as the leader of the country, we want to lead in AI. And we're leading China by a lot in AI. And we're also leading in crypto. Yeah.
Do you agree with the decision by Janine Pirro to
drop the investigation into Jerome Powell?
Well, I want to find out. You know, it's
Well,
not dropped. They're looking into the whole thing about the
Refer to
cost.
the IG.
What I want to look at, yeah, with the IG. What I want to look at is how can a building that I could have done for $25 million cost $4 billion? That's a big thing.
$4 billion.
And he was in charge. So we'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I think Janine is fantastic. And she worked with other people on that. I tell you, I want to find out. I have an obligation to find out. This was done during Biden, but I have an obligation.
You know, Jimmy Mack, I actually heard about that. I didn't see it yet, but I did hear about it. I saw a little something about it on social media last night.
To find out how does it, I would have done that building for $25 million, had money left over, and it would have been open a long time ago.
You or her people? Your
I
people
want to
asked her
find
drop
out
it?
because for
And
the
actually, you reminded me. Let me go ahead and grab that clip too.
country, look, we have a railroad under construction in California. That's the worst thing I've ever seen under Gavin Newsom. And I want to find out why that one is costing 20 times what it was projected to cost. Likewise, the Fed building is a small. I built a hotel in Washington. It's a Waldorf Astoria. I built it for $201 million. And I believe it's bigger than the Fed building. And you have bathrooms, you have a lot of, it's much tougher, much more expensive to build a hotel than an office. I want to find out how can a building of that size cost for whatever it's going to be. Nobody knows, by the way, what it's going to be. Kevin is going to be fantastic. Kevin Warsh, he may never get to be in that building.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to show you that clip because I pulled it up for you guys. Let me go ahead and see. There is a little short clip of it so that we can, here we go. Let's see. Let's see what we can see.
And he also wrote this: I'm no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Let's finish the interview.
And he
Yep. Went a little. Yeah, listen, man. One thing about Trump, he handles the media like a G. He does. It should be studied, actually. It should actually be studied because he does very well at bullying the media, because the media has done very good at bullying people, elected officials, presidents, all of it. And the way he deals with it is pretty incredible.
Is it smooth sailing for him now? Will Tillis drop his block?
I would imagine it's smooth, but whether it is or not, somebody has to find out why that building that should have cost $25 million is costing billions of dollars.
Sure, what else?
And you know why they have to find it out? For other buildings, because that's not the only one. I think that's the most egregious example.
What else costs money, Ron, as you're figuring out who is in charge? If the hardliners or IRGC-aligned leaders have greater power in Iran, can the U.S. make a deal with those factors?
Whoever's running the show.
Yes, by the way, you guys don't have to like all the craziness that's happening around the world or here in this country. But listen, you guys can hit the like button for me. You know what I mean? What we're doing here. So thank you guys. And also hit that double tap the screen if you guys are on the vertical side, and hit the like button if you're on the horizontal. Appreciate you guys.
Deal with whoever runs the show. They don't know. They are fighting with each other. There's tremendous infighting. They're probably fighting for leadership. In many cases, I think they're fighting not to be the leader because we knocked out 2 levels of leaders. But I'll deal with whoever we have to. But
that's true, Steve Posey. That's very true. Let's go ahead and, that's a great suggestion. Let's go ahead and do one of these maneuvers here, Shit. Feels good to be a G. All right, here we go.
No reason to wait 2 days, have people traveling for 16, 17 hours. And we're not doing it that way. We'll do it. When they want, they can call me. We have all the cards. We've won everything. We have all the cards.
Yesterday you said to Reuters that we're dealing with who is in charge now. What changed from
What's up, Magic Man? Good morning.
yesterday to today?
Nothing. It's just that they gave us a paper that should have been better. And interestingly, immediately when I canceled it, Within 10
Immediately.
minutes, we got a new paper that was much better.
What was on that paper, sir? What was
We talked about they will.
You know, actually, I don't know the name of it because there is no name on it. There's only like this small little logo. Here. There's only like this very small little logo or whatever, but it holds your left-handed tobacco. You know what I mean? So you can put it in your pocket, move around with it, and you're not going to crush them.
Not have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. Look, that whole deal is not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on. Inside the White House, correspondent dinner shooting as, quote, lone wolf reportedly targets Trump officials. All right, let's go and bring this up, and we'll quickly get into it. Now, guys, truth be told, the guy didn't get too far. It's not like he was about 500 feet away from the actual dinner itself, but there was a lot of security there, and I'm also going to explain the actual area to you guys as well. But first, we got to do this.
Live now from Fox, a live look in Washington, D.C. at the White House here on this Sunday. I'm Andy Mack now here in the anchor chair. Thank you to my colleague Stephanie Quinn for guiding you the last several hours. And we're continuing to dive into the latest following the chaotic scene after the attack at that White House Correspondents' Dinner last night. So just 24 hours.
Really? It's for darts? That's pretty cool, dude. That's awesome.
Since it all transpired.
I haven't played darts in a bit.
Look right now at
I'm actually somewhat good.
Washington Hotel as people still trying to gather exactly what went down as the man accused of opening fire at the WHCD dinner sent writings to family members minutes before the shooting, referring to himself as, quote, a friendly federal assassin, railing against the Trump administration.
Now, that is epic. I can actually hear that voice. I can hear that voice, Cameron, of Donald J. Trump.
And their policies, signaling what investigators increasingly believe was a politically driven attack. The writing sent shortly before shots were fired at that Washington Hilton made a repeated reference to President Donald Trump without naming him directly, alluding to grievances over a range of administration actions and recent events. Investigators treating the
man, Frank, don't get it twisted, homie. Don't get it twisted. I'm a broke motherfucker too. You know what I mean? But I do have a little bit of connections. Your network is your net worth.
Writings along with a trail of social media posts, interviews with family members as some of the clearest evidence yet of the suspect's mindset and also possible motives. Authorities also uncover what the officials described as an
So we've been live for almost 28 minutes now, YM. And we've been covering a lot of Fox, actually. The whole stream has been off of Fox, live now from Fox in particular. Now, not once have I shown you any opinions. Okay, I'm showing you what's happening. So, I mean, it's a moot point what you're saying over there.
Trump social media posts that linked the suspect, Cole Allen, a 31-year-old California man accused of trying to breach security checkpoint at the dinner.
Good morning, brother Wildcard. Great to see you in the chat, my man.
Armed with multiple weapons. And we are getting different images here on Live Now from Fox. No real updates.
That's very true, Steve Easy.
Some of the events of last night or more information on what investigators are gathering. But we do have images in
Seymour Cannabis knows the deal. Shout out to my man in Cheers.
Torrance, California. In California, the supposed home of this individual.
Now, that is where the shooter of the White House Correspondents' Dinner thing, he lives in Torrance, California. And he also is a teacher or either a tutor, teacher. There's some reports that say that he's some like different lower level type teacher. And then there's actual reports that he is a teacher. And he even got Teacher of the Month. So those are what the reports are, they're kind of saying two things. But nonetheless, it is all being reported that he is in his house was in Torrance, California. And I forget the exact school. They actually said it, but I'll have to think of it.
As Alan's brother contacted police in New London, Connecticut after receiving the writings. According to officials, spokesperson said they contacted federal law enforcement after receiving that information. So we're kind of gathering it from both coasts here on Live and Now from Fox about what's going on, what happened, and the motivation behind this attack, as different members, the president, the vice president, speaker of the House, all in attendance, as well as a myriad of...
Hell yeah, Chasing Ghost. Yeah, no problem on that. That's the whole point of the you know, promote your channel kind of thing, or promote a video, promote whatever, you know. So always appreciate you. Thank you for that.
Media members who we will be talking to over the course of the next several hours. But for more
Good morning.
Let's go out right now to Rebecca Castor on where we stand following this attack at that Washington Hilton last night for the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Scooter gang gang.
It was supposed to be a night full of laughs and dinner for the president and the press, but it suddenly turned into a night of crisis and chaos when a gunman burst on the scene.
It didn't take long for the president, the first lady, and 3,000 guests in the Washington Hilton ballroom to realize something was wrong. All of them scrambling for cover, some diving under tables after gunfire rang out in the hotel lobby.
Man, you were born in Torrance? Or yeah, so you were born in Torrance 5150? That's awesome. My mom lived in Torrance for a bit as a kid. Grew up there a little bit. And so did my sister, actually.
No guests were injured. The Trumps and other officials were quickly removed from the stage and rushed back to safety at the White House.
It was pretty loud noise, and it was from quite far away. He hadn't breached the area at all. They really got him. But so it was quite far away, but it was a gun.
Hotel surveillance cameras captured the suspect.
Okay, so I actually have the raw footage, and we'll go over this footage. Since they're showing it, you got to understand it's terrible quality. I think it's being recorded off of a phone from a phone, you know, kind of thing. And they're recording with some bullshit phone or something. It's terrible quality. Anyways, and this is the only footage that you can get. This is the same footage, the same clip that I was about to show you guys. Anyways, you guys are going to see this guy basically run as fast as he kind of can. And he's running, and then he's going to shoot this guy, this agent right here. That's at this, there's like this little... I can't tell if that's a desk or chairs. I can't tell what that is. I think it's chairs. But nonetheless, he does get shot right there from an AR or a long rifle. I shouldn't say an AR because there's multiple long rifles. I don't know what long rifle he had yet.
Racing through a checkpoint in
there he
the
is.
hotel
Boom.
lobby.
And that's where he got shot. Now, look, this agent got shot in the chest right there. And luckily for him, he had his bulletproof, you know, he had actual plates. Anyways, saved his life, and he's on his feet still. Look at that shit. I mean, he just took that shit right there. Boom. So yeah. And shotgun, I thought, no, it's a long rifle. That's what every report is. It's a long rifle. So that's not a shotgun. But yes, he had a shotgun, pistol, and several knives. Yes, he also had that shit, right? He had multiple pistols, shotgun, and several knives, as well as a long rifle. Or was the long rifle that was being reported actually a shotgun? If they were reporting it as a long rifle and it was a shotgun, I'm going to be pissed at these motherfuckers. They keep reporting the bullshit, you know? As you guys know, I'm very factual based, right? So anyways, the reason why you guys see this area that is like, people are asking, well, this is a huge dinner that's going on and all these people, why is it so empty over here? Well, let me go ahead and give you guys the answer. What's back here, okay, let me go ahead and, I know you guys can't see very good on the mobile side of stuff, but I wish I could make my cursor not blend with the background right now, but the right side of the screen, this is an area that is like basically like no common people are just walking through. Okay. If you were to look to the left of everything, if you look down that way, or if it were to turn this, like it's like back this way or whatever is the actual dinner that's happening. Okay. So this area, this middle door that you guys see, there's one big door, two double doors, you know, anyways, the very center one, believe it or not, that center one goes to the back of the stage, essentially. You know, you guys know what I'm saying, over there for the dinner. That's where all, you know, you'll see a lot of agents actually pouring out of there right away too. I mean, like right away. It's pretty incredible. Anyways, let me go ahead and back that up so you guys can see it. Hold on. Here we go.
Far away, but it was a gun.
Hotel surveillance cameras.
Hold on. Let me go ahead and speed this down to normal speed. This is normal speed now.
Captured the suspect racing through a checkpoint in the hotel
Boom,
lobby.
shot him. Now, I can't believe that he stood on his feet. And I mean, he was a little wiggly, but he stood on his feet, took it like a G, I got to admit. But it didn't show the rest of the clip. Then that's really pissed me off. So I actually have the real clip. Let me go ahead and show you guys that. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Let me find it. Here it is.
It looked like he checked it twice.
Lieutenant Hudson, you monitoring this area?
Now, he comes through this door that's over here. Now, believe it or not, I think this door was supposed to be secure, okay? This door that's right here, that's how he got theoretically past security, okay? Everyone's like, well, how the fuck did he get past, you know, like right as you're walking in, they check you. Well, that area he got through and bombarded agents, and he was running straight for the dinner, okay? So it's only from right here, it's only about 500-600 feet away from where the dinner was being held. So anyways, pretty crazy. Let me go ahead and play it. Boom, shot that agent right there. Now he's on his feet still. Look, he's like, oh, but he's pulled out his gun. I can't tell if they're shooting right there.
Shall I post it?
Now, see how that center door, that center door just opened up? That's the door that is a tunnel, essentially, back to the backstage of the dinner.
18, go for
pretty crazy.
Support journalism you trust.
Yeah, support journalism you trust. Insane Wheels, motherfucker. All right, back to this. Give me a second. Back to the report.
The individual was intent on doing as much harm and as much damage as he could.
He was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives.
Okay, so there's the actual. They said shotgun now. It turned from long rifle to shotgun. So that's the very first time I actually heard that. So good to know.
Him through the lobby, security quickly tackled.
So he took a shotgun shell to the chest, yo. I mean, even with plates, it's I mean, that guy probably may even have broken sternum or broken ribs. You never know. I mean, that shit is, it will absolutely hurt.
Arrested him. Police think they know how he got in.
We do believe he was a guest here at the hotel. We have secured a room here in the hotel. And again, we'll go through the appropriate procedures to
guest at the hotel.
President Trump called a Secret Service agent who was injured during the chase and is now in the hospital recovering.
What's up, Kerry? Good morning.
Was saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest.
Police say all indications are that the suspect acted alone, and President Trump says he's
Good morning, Pops. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. Great to see you in the chat.
determined to reschedule the dinner within the next 30 days. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
All right, thank you so much for that, Rebecca. And we are hearing a statement coming in from the White House about exactly what's going on last night from the president, from the administration. A live look right now at the White House here on this Sunday. And I want to read it to you.
What's up, TVT, as well? Great to see you in the chat. Good morning.
Saying, quote, in a horrific moment on April the 25th at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, President Trump and members of his cabinet survived an assassination attempt. When shots were fired, the president,
What's up,
First
Charlie?
Lady, Vice President, and cabinet officials are all safe and unharmed. The Secret Service quickly neutralized the threat, evacuated those present. The suspect was taken into custody despite the attack. It was
and he was using buckshot. Shit, man. We got Christopher Collins in the building. Shout out to you, by the way. Good morning. Pops in, never miss a show. I very much appreciate that. Yeah, I would have way rather used slugs for sure. That would have been way more painful, and it may have even breached the plate to an extent. I really don't know at that range, man. I mean, that is really fucking close. You guys saw, I mean, he was probably from me to you guys right now on where the camera is, where he got shot. I mean, point blank, boom. you know? Crazy.
Another strong week for America. The S&P 500 continued its upward momentum. President Trump hosted a major White House healthcare affordability announcement of new pharmaceutical pricing to lower costs for American families. The U.S. successfully maintained its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz to pressure Iran, and America's energy dominance was further advanced from delivering healthcare affordability breakthroughs and enforcing the Hormuz blockade for national security leverage to advancing Americans' energy.
Yeah, I heard about that. There was some manifesto that was released last night. I heard about it, I think.
Dominance for global
I
stability.
didn't see it.
The Trump administration continues to deliver results for the American people, even in the face of evil. All right, let's continue on here on Live Now from Fox. Bring into the conversation Associated Press White House reporter Will Weissert. Will, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. You were in the room last night. Just take me through some of the thoughts, the feelings as you grapple with what happened in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, you know, the dinner was sort of proceeding as normal. We were working on our salads.
Yeah, we already know that shit. I don't need to hear your story on that.
Get some of the details out, even though we really didn't know what was going on in the moment. But you know, I mean, it's an event that happens every year. It's often attended by the president. This is the first time President Trump had attended. But you know, having the president and vice president there is not unusual. You know,
And that's the guy right there. That's him. This is what they're saying is him. Trump even posted a picture of this.
President Harris, President Biden were both there. You know, it's a very secure ballroom, and ultimately, what the president
Actually, it's not supposedly. He's already booked and everything. He's actually going to be appearing in court today.
said is correct, is that the suspect did not breach the ballroom, or really even sort of close to getting into the security perimeter. So there was never really sort of a great deal of danger in that moment to the president. That doesn't mean it wasn't sort of scary and traumatic for a lot of folks. But as far as a lot of the reporters in the room were concerned, it was just let's get to work and figure out how we can best start filing on this.
Yeah, that is the reporter, the journalist mindset, immediately thinking about how you can cover the story. What's the headline? What are the main important points of it? You mentioned some of the historical nature, because it's the first time President Trump has been at a White House Correspondents' Dinner, but others previously, you mentioned the Washington Hilton. It has also hosted major events like this. We talk a lot about security, as there was no magnetometers outside the hotel, just really outside of the room. Did you feel secure? Did you feel
Be safe out there, Pops. We always appreciate
safe
you.
walking into it? Because I imagine
Much
when you go
love.
into a room with the president, it must feel somewhat safe, very secure.
I remember thinking earlier in the day that we were probably the most secure room in the country, right? Given that the president was there. I do feel safe that I'm in the White House right now. Every day we come, you have to go through several layers of security to even get down 17th Street. You have to go through a metal detector to get into the gate. And then there's more security around the grounds and where the president is, that we're in areas that we're not actually allowed to access. That this was a similar setup. As you know, you could, if you had a hotel key that you could show, or
That's a very good point you have there, Charlie. No kidding.
Invitation to dinner, you were able to sort of get into the hotel building itself, but you couldn't get down to sort of where the dinner was taking place without going through metal detectors. And everybody was searched. They took out all the stuff in your pockets and make sure you didn't have any metal. And that's why you sort of saw a suspect trying to sort of run through that perimeter. At least that's what appears what's going on.
All right. So real quick, let's see if there's any other posts. There's something here. Let's go ahead and play.
The last 3 years, the White House again posting this on social media, saying in the horrific moment, President Trump and the members of the cabinet survived an assassination attempt when shots were fired, calling this out for what it was. You also mentioned Butler, dating back to him on the campaign trail, and he was asked about the similarities, the difference between that moment. I found it interesting that...
No kidding, Magic Man. And it's not like he actually, like Trump actually got shot at. You know what I mean? It was like obvious that he was probably going for him. You know what I mean? Obviously, he was gunning to get in there and probably get the head man. But he didn't make it. He actually didn't make it into the room at all, actually. So
he really called for unity and bipartisanship in a way that you don't generally hear from the president. Is that fair to say? Is he calling on it? Because this was a room of Democrats, Republicans, of liberals, of conservatives. Did you hear that sense of unity?
I do. I also picked up on that and have written about that last night and this morning. He very much did say we should come together and this should be a unifying event, and that this was a room full of people from both parties and politicians from both parties, and this should be an opportunity to sort of unify together.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we get any other images or posts from this. It looks like there is the tweet from Trump.
Around a ballroom at the White House and how that might benefit a moment like this. On social media, he said the president for the last 150 years have been demanding that a large, safe, and secure ballroom be built on the grounds of the White House. This event would never have happened with a military top-secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House. Well, let me ask you about that. Would that have benefited it? Would the Correspondents' Dinner even been present at that? Would that
Very true,
actually
Steve.
made a difference?
You know, I don't know. That's not something that we can sort of answer at this point, because you're right. Imagining sort of bringing in thousands of people that are not people like me and reporters that cover the White House that sort of have passes every day that allow us to go in and out a little bit more freely. You know, the idea of bringing in like 3,000 people, most of whom are not going to have come to the White House before and have to go through background checks and stuff. It's awfully hard to imagine that happening in a ballroom, even if it were built in time, which of course it's not going to be. In fact, there's questions about whether it will be done at all before President Trump leaves office. In January 2029, he says it will be. It's possible it will. They've got a lot of work to do. But would it be?
I can't say with certainty, Charles, but I do believe that Trump, when this whole thing that with the judge blocking it or whatever the case is, he said, listen, this is not funded by any type of tax money. It's not going through Congress. There's no tax money, so it doesn't have to go through Congress. He goes, I think he said we'll do the brief pause or whatever, but they've got it wrong and we'll continue this. That's what he said.
More secure area once it's built. Yes, I mean he's talked
DC,
about how
my man, good morning.
With security experts to do things like install bunkers and even put in like hospitals and other things and make things drone proof. And so yeah, I mean that's a situation where you would have a very sort of secure area once it's ready, but it's not going to be ready for years. And just the logistics of sort of moving an event this large sort of in and out of the White House.
Yeah, I mean, you had every important motherfucker there, basically, from both sides of the aisle too. It was Democrats and Republicans there. Everybody. It was a big ordeal. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Let's see. We've got security. We've got this update. Let's go ahead and see if this is a worthy update. We're gonna kind of briefly go through it.
All right, welcome back in here to Alive Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. We're looking at the White House correspondent.
Okay, I don't think we heard this White House.
The clearest evidence yet of the suspect's mindset and motives. We also heard from the White House, President Trump and the White House on saying this.
Yes,
about
we did.
what
We did see that, and we reported it. We're gonna see if there's a clip that you guys have not seen yet.
Protection ability. We saw several of the detailees take minutes to be escorted out the room.
No, they acted very quickly. No, I was very impressed by Secret Service. I mean, I'm the one, and Mark Wayne, you would agree with that, I think.
Absolutely.
I'm the one that
What's up, Jason? Good morning.
would complain. You don't have to complain for me. I would be complaining. I'd be up here right now saying they didn't do their job. Oh, believe me, because, it's my life.
Are you talking to me, Charlie?
And I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live. But when you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. Okay, couple of...
Yeah, I played the clip of that TVT right before you showed up, actually. Right before you showed up, I actually showed that clip.
A couple of more?
All right, just listening in there to President.
Yeah, Charlie, you can reach out to me anytime. I show you guys where to reach out to me, where the best place to hit me up one-on-one, right there. There's my Instagram, @BallValveTV. If you don't have that, I've got Facebook. If you don't have that, then I've got Discord. I've got multiple ways to reach out to me. So anyways, the Discord server, by the way, is in the video description down below right now. If you go into the description, there's the invite link for Discord for the server.
Let's be joined right now by Barry Donadio, a former Secret Service officer. Barry, thank you so much for joining us. And I can only imagine what Secret Service officers were feeling in that moment last night, the third such potential attack on his life in the last 2 years, less than 2 years. When you look at the video, when you see the scene last night, what is your vantage point? How do you view it?
I really don't care about that. I don't care about that. Let's see. Okay, Trump putting out the security footage that we already reviewed. We already reviewed and told you guys what we thought about it. And also the small intel that I do have on it. Let's see if there's any big posts here, because if not, we're not going to go ahead and just, let's see.
The officers at the check.
Oh yeah, I saw this on social media where they were attending to the agent that got shot.
Over the radio shot.
We know that. Let's see if there's anything else. There is not. All right, moving on. That's what we do. Skip the bullshit, Anyways, from yesterday, Speaker Johnson unveils new spy powers plan ahead of extension deadline. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Also, the one thing that we haven't done yet, we haven't done the money part yet.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
True, though. True. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll quickly discuss it.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We are following the latest from Capitol Hill, a live look right now there in Washington, D.C. House Speaker Mike Johnson is forging ahead with his latest proposal to renew Section 702.
So, if you go to my channel on like the About Me, the description of the channel on Insane Wheels, go to that and I'll show like the description of what Insane Wheels is or whatever. There's Facebook there that you can click on. There's Instagram. There's even TikTok, but I don't use TikTok anymore. So.
Of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, which is set to expire on April 30th. FISA 702 allows U.S. intelligence agencies to intercept the electronic communication.
Yeah, I would drop it for Charlie, but unfortunately links don't work in the fucking verticals. Not yet anyways. I'm sure it will work eventually. But
of foreign nationals located outside of the U.S. Johnson's new bill, which was revealed last week, is largely unchanged from a previous
be good, Frank. We always appreciate you.
Plan, which failed in a series of overnight votes earlier this month. And for more on this, we want to bring in a former NSA General Counsel, Glenn Gerstel. Thank you so much for being here, Glenn.
What's up, brother Pitbull over there from the UK across the pond? We always appreciate you. Good afternoon to you. Great to see you.
So let's
hit that like button, everybody.
What exactly does FISA 702 allow the government to do, and why is it needed in addition to some of the laws that are already on the books?
Sure. This section 702 of FISA was adopted in 2008. It's been renewed on a temporary basis ever since then. Continue.
See, I really don't know our spy powers, to be honest.
It's probably the single most important operational national security statute for
What's up, Mafioso? Good to see you in the chat, by the way.
States.
Good morning.
What does it do? It enables the United
Oh, yeah,
States
Cameron. Thank you for that.
through the National Security Agency and other agencies to keep track on foreign threats, simply put. That ranges from everything from understanding more about the Iranian regime and their attempts to build a nuclear bomb, to the same thing for North Korea, to what Russia is up to in the Ukraine, other adversary countries, China, elsewhere, narco-terrorists. It covers almost the entire range of foreign threats and enables the United States.
I would have imagined that it would be for all threats, essentially.
To in effect, spy on foreigners who are located overseas.
So like the CIA.
And a concern that probably many Americans have here, asking if Americans can be targeted by this surveillance under Section 702. What exactly are the concerns surrounding the surveillance aspect?
She actually had to read this all out because honestly, this is like, I can guarantee you, she knows nothing about this shit either.
This,
you know,
maybe within the U.S.
I would have to do the same shit,
even though that's not what it's intended for.
So the statute is exclusively aimed at foreigners located overseas who have relevant foreign intelligence information. That's the test. That's been the test since the statute was adopted. No American located anywhere around the world can ever be targeted for surveillance under Section 702. No exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Let me go and back that up in here. So procedures for targeting certain persons outside the United States other than the United States persons. Other than United States persons.
Targeted for surveillance under Section 702. No exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. Indeed, that's because of the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, which ultimately governs, as the Supreme Court has said, electronic surveillance by the federal government, says that Americans, no matter where they are around the world, are protected.
It's funny because as soon as Naomi said any ideas, I was going to say tacos. So you kind of read my mind.
By the benefits of the Fourth Amendment. So the statute's very clear on that. No Americans are targeted. So what's the concern? The concern is that because although the statute is aimed at, say, let's just say foreign terrorists, just
What's up? We got Big Dan in the building. Mike, you better dig into Planeteer teaming up with USDA. I'm sure I said that name wrong anyways. All farm crops and money spent will be tracked, eliminating barter. What?
to take one example, overseas terrorists, maybe some of them, some percentage of them might be in communication with Americans. That could be for perfectly benign reasons, such as they're talking.
What's up, good citizen? That's my middle name, by the way, but appreciate you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning so
Their
far.
relatives in the United States or who knows what else. Or it could be for malevolent purposes. They're trying to recruit someone. It could be China trying to recruit a spy, a terrorist trying to recruit someone to help them plant a bomb in the United States. And so inevitably there'll be some communications, presumably small, but some percentage of those foreign targets. And by the way, there were about 300.
Oh, what's up, Charlie? Great to see you in the
1,000
chat.
last year, 300,000 foreign targets, foreigners targeted under this program. Some percentage of them will probably be talking to Americans. And that communication, the other end of that communication, is going to be picked up inevitably. It's a byproduct of doing surveillance, whether it's an email or a telephone call. And that's where the problem begins from the point of view of the privacy advocates, which is they say the government then has the ability later on to look through its database and look at Americans' communications that were inadvertently or incidentally caught up, even though they weren't the targets, caught up in this surveillance program.
I really didn't catch the kind of middle part of what he was saying right there. Hold on.
To look through its database and look at Americans' communications that were inadvertently or incidentally caught up, even though they weren't the targets, caught up in this surveillance program.
Interesting. And the whole thing is they can't be targeted. No ifs, ands, or buts, like he said. But anyways, a lot of that shit is above my pay grade. I'm going to be honest. So we're going to move on. I got a little bit out there for you guys. All right. Let's go ahead and see what's happening here, because it says White House correspondent's dinner shooting, suspect to appear in court, and he's supposed to appear today, by the way. So let's go ahead and bring that up. Also, what we need to do is embrace our fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past.
I hate when it glitches like that. Now I have to go to another clip to get it to start correctly.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. What's up, Fidel? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll quickly discuss this before we get into King Charles.
We were just listening in there to Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche speak on Fox News Sunday there, as we continue to track the latest here with the ongoing investigation into what happened over the weekend at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And to talk more about the investigation, we want to bring in Bill Daley, who is a former FBI investigator and national security expert. Thank you so much for coming back on the program here. It's always great to have you. Can you walk us through a little bit about where the investigation stands right now? What will investigators be looking for?
Sure. Well, certainly there are a number of moving parts in this investigation right now. Some of them we're not going to be privy to in the public sector, because much of the information is going to be used for prosecution. So as they build this case against Mr. Allen, they're going to hold on to a lot of that information, because they need to be sure that from an evidentiary perspective, that all the analysis is done, and that when it's presented in court, it isn't already tainted in some way or any way kind of infringes on the prosecution. So there's some things we're going to see, some things we're not going to see. Certainly the things on the investigation are kind of coming to light, is that not only did he have this kind of stellar kind of educational career, but at some point there was a pivot on this, and he changed his views, or became much more vocal about his views, apparently against the president. He wrote a manifesto. Whether the manifesto they're talking about that perhaps his family members saw was the only one, we don't know.
What's up, Charlie Rose? Good morning to you. Great to see you. And yes, Steve Posey, she must be sleeping. She's got to be sleeping this morning for sure. All right, back to
the FBI has been out there in California, in Torrance, California, conducting both interviews of people in the neighborhood, as well as a detailed crime scene search, or a search of his home, gathering all the information they can.
What's up, Richard? Good morning. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far.
From not just what he may have physically, but also from his electronic devices. The other part of the investigation is really around how he came across the country. We're assuming right now that he came across the country with his weapons. That hasn't been kind of verified, but at least that's the assumption. They took a train because Taking a train doesn't require going through the same scrutiny or much scrutiny as compared to going through an airport, where obviously we would expect he would have been caught with his weaponry. And then the other part of the investigation is him checking into the hotel. And how did he do that? Did he make those reservations himself? Did someone else do it? What else has he been using his credit card for while he was in town? Were there any connections with people that he knew when he was either traveling cross country or in Washington? So was there any kind of pre-notice about this incident? Parenthetically, we do know that his family member called.
And also, we know that he had a manifesto. And I'm sure a lot of these people usually are, you can find a lot about people in Discord. It's really interesting. Discord is like the place to come up and conspire and shit, you know,
The
whatever.
London, Connecticut Police Department. But it appears that call came in actually after the incident at the Correspondents' Dinner took place. So a lot of questions still need to be answered. As I said, some will hear, some we may not hear for a while until they become public and part of the prosecution.
What's up, Liquored Up with Poncho? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, my man. Good morning.
And that's what I did want to touch on, too, as the AP News did say the New London Police Department said in a statement it was contacted at about 10:49 p.m., about 2 hours after the shooting, by an individual who wanted to share information related to it. The police department said they then immediately notified federal law enforcement. So this is happening 2 hours after. So I wonder, how does that process look like, as we know that evidently
sounds pretty much like my manifesto, homie.
the suspected shooter also notified some of his family about what was going to transpire.
Yes, and that's certainly the troubling part of this, and it's certainly the troubling part of many of these both investigations where we see people who have kind of intonated,
What up, David?
out, stated, left kind of a trail of breadcrumbs before an incident has taken place. So you know, it is certainly troubling. We need to dig down into that further and say exactly, you know, when did they know this, and you know, obviously their response was more that, oh my gosh, you know, either they knew at that point that his name was released or that it could be him. And so they contacted police. But I don't want to speculate too much further on that because, you know, we don't have the details surrounding what they knew, when they knew, and what prompted them to make that call. We're going to assume that it was because the incident actually took place. But, you know, interesting, Bowen, is that, you know, kind of pivoting on this issue of the investigation. And certainly we do need to know a lot of the facts around this. We always want to know the motive. We want to know the person behind it. We want to know what drove them to do that. We want to know whether there are any co-conspirators or any people who are maybe wittingly or unwittingly helped him in his planning. Those are all very important parts of the investigation. The other part I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about is really kind of the threat environment. And having been both involved in former law enforcement career as well as...
All right, we got to do it, everybody. We got to do it. Shit.
Man, motherfuckers talk all the shit they want. But you see me, I'm sitting up here snacking on this big ass sandwich, not getting a fuck. Kiss my dick, motherfucker.
True. True, though.
In the private sector for many years, I can tell you that the threat environment has changed significantly. And what I mean by that is that there are people out there, let's say, you know, 10 or 15 years ago, who would have had to really kind of struggle to find like-minded individuals who are thinking and saying the same things about a political context, political issue, or some social issue, or in case speaking out, let's say, against the president or the administration. So it's not just speaking out, but it's more like, you know, how they coalesce and how some of these threats kind of come about because they're in an echo chamber. They're speaking, they're connecting with people who are thinking the same way. And so
right, that is true, and that goes for anything, though. All right, so let's see if we have any updates. The TMZ is actually reporting alleged the White House Correspondent Dinner. Gunman Cole Allen's LinkedIn gives a glance into his background, and they actually post the link to his LinkedIn.
WHCD gunman Cole Allen's LinkedIn gives glance into his background. What do we know about this suspect so far? As we know, the investigation is also, there will be investigators at his residency over in California. Will they also be looking into his digital footprint? What are some of the clues, or what are they going to be looking for when diving into the background of this person?
Well, some of the key things they're going to look for, Bowen, are connections to other people who either, again, as I just mentioned, were either in some way complicit or knew about his plans far in advance. And also, we certainly want to know the motive, and we want to know, you know, the full intention. I mean, there's been the suggestion that he was going after President Trump and members of the administration, maybe absent one of them. In fact, I heard one report where it may have been absent the FBI director. But
yeah, it was you that said that, Charles, right when you came in. I think that it was you that said that. That's totally interesting.
Digging down into his digital footprint, talking to people around him are very important. We do know from his background is he was quite an accomplished person in education, and he also at some point developed a game that was apparently quite an involved game. It was a shooting game a couple of years ago. So although he's very well educated, the question is, at what point did the change occur, and at what point, again, what investigators are going to be looking at, did other people somehow know about this, or was there any, again, involvement, whether
Yeah, do me that favor. Do me that favor, Charles.
people in
If
California
you don't
or
mind.
during his trip across the country? We're hearing that he came across the country by train, may have changed trains in Chicago and found his way into the hotel. And then what were his actions when he was at the hotel? Again, looking for any connectivity between other individuals, and at the same time, trying to really go through from a behavioral analysis standpoint, understand what motivated him and what those true intentions were. Those are all very important, I know, not just for the facts of the case for prosecution, but it's also going to be important for behavioral analysis to take place, so people can, law enforcement can maybe better understand where these threats come from, how they manifest themselves, and what could be done in advance.
Security.
Okay, let's see here. I have not seen these images yet. I do want to see what's happening here.
Looks like that night, especially when you have the President of the United States at an event like this. Can you speak to any how that security looks there, as we are taking a look at that video where somebody, it appears to be rushing through security?
Yeah, but it's interesting because there are certainly different profiles, for presidential, security when he's at the White House, when he's traveling overseas, here in the U.S., whether it's at closed events to open air events, and this is a little bit something different because it's a very large event at a hotel, and as many people have been.
Charles is saying that he even made a game, and it's out on Steam, like video game. It's on Steam, which is like basically an engine for all these different video game creators and stuff like that.
And speaking about over the weekend.
Well, not just them, but also the people that want to buy. It's like a big app store, if you've never heard of it.
And is that it's a hotel that at the same time having this very large dinner, estimates are put at maybe 2,500 or 3,000 people attending this dinner, is also a functioning hotel. So there are other people who are guests in the hotel who may not have anything to do with the correspondence dinner. And so for the Secret Service, it becomes certainly a challenging
shooters game. I got to look at the link on this real quick. Hold on. Let me see. Hopefully you didn't put it on the... Okay, you did, actually, but I can click it. Okay, let me see. It's called Boredom. Check this out, everybody. And it does have Cole Allen as the creator right here. It's called Boredom. And you guys can see right there underneath where the blue part is right there. It says Cole Allen. Developer Cole Allen and publisher Cole Allen. Released December 20th of 2018. Wow.
Control point with regard to, who's in and around the hotel, because again, people are just going about maybe they're visitors or people going for other, business purposes and not attending the correspondence dinner. So the security profile appears to be one where they had an outside perimeter there.
Oh, read the reviews? Oh, I bet you the reviews are crazy.
Called concentric rings or layered security. Some of it you're seeing there, both in that lobby clip where he seems to be running past at least the outer perimeter of the Secret Service security. But there's also security behind the scenes and what they call back of the house in the hotel business, where you have freight elevators, you have kitchen, you have utility corridors. All those need to be protected. We're not seeing that going on, but there's a perimeter all around where the president is moving within this envelope. So they have various rings that you get even in close.
What's up, Marilyn? Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Real quick, let's go ahead and see if there's any other posts here from anybody. Nope, there is not. All right, we're going to move on. We got King Charles. Now, this just came out a couple hours ago. King Charles and Queen Camilla, I don't know how to say her name, set for high-stakes visit. So it's set for today, actually. So let's go ahead and bring that up, and we'll quickly discuss it.
But let's move on to Washington, D.C. As we said, later on today, President Trump is going to be welcoming King Charles III there in D.C. Taking us out.
Shit, we got Steve Posey coming in with the 5 spot saying overtime for Mike. Man, I very much appreciate that. We're only slightly into overtime, and luckily for us, we're actually on the last story right now. So anyways, I very much appreciate that, Steve Posey. It definitely goes a long way. Thank you for making it rain in the freaking chat.
Out to a social media post courtesy of our team at Fox 5 saying King Charles III arrives in Washington, D.C. on Monday for a 4-day state visit marking the U.S.'s 250th anniversary. For more on this story, we're going to be joined by Fox 5's Melanie Aldwig. She is live with the latest. Melanie, good to see you.
Hey, good morning. So we're here on 17th Street, just at the corner of the White House complex, and we're seeing all of the signs of a state visit, including the Union.
Truly, it's up to you, honestly, Charlie. Whatever you want to do, it's okay either way.
Jack flags adorning many of the streets around the White House complex, streets that we expect that His Majesty King Charles and Her Majesty Queen Camilla will be traveling on their way from Joint Base Andrews here to the White House later this afternoon. They are expected late afternoon here. According to the BBC, there have been some adjustments made to the visit in light of this weekend's attempted shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And
wow, we got Brother So Loud coming in, by the way, with the 5 spot as well, saying overtime pay. My man, thank you very much for making it rain and sending it out there, man. I very much appreciate that. Definitely goes a long way. Thank you guys for the love and support. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button. Double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side.
Perceived heightened security risk. Now, this is King Charles' first visit to the United States since his ascension to the throne. He and Queen Camilla are expected later this morning at Joint Base Andrews. The visit comes amid tense relations between the United Kingdom and the U.S., primarily over trade and the war with Iran. President Trump believes his relationship with King Charles will help break.
You be safe out there, Cameron. Always appreciate you.
Some of those tensions. There are a number of events planned for the 4-day visit, including an address to both houses of Congress and a state dinner Tuesday night, a wreath laying to honor fallen soldiers, a visit with 9/11 families in New York, and a trip to a national park in Virginia before the King and Queen depart Thursday. Now, in announcing that the visit will go forward, Buckingham Palace said the King and Queen are grateful to all of those who worked very quickly throughout the weekend to do whatever needed to be done to ensure the additional security so that the visit could go forward. But again, there may be some adjustments made as the trip goes along. Those are, as you can imagine, the sorts of things that they would not be announcing to the public ahead of time. And then we know from Buckingham Palace that after the King and Queen depart Washington from Joint Base Andrews on...
The truth is, I don't follow any of those people over there, Charlie. I really don't give a shit about the royal family. Never have.
Thursday, they will be continuing their official visits to Bermuda,
I'm with
which
you,
is
Xavier.
Also territory of the United Kingdom.
All right, Melanie Almwick for their team at Fox 5 in DC. Melanie, always good to check in with you. Take care. We'll check in later. Continuing on with some more. This is a social media post from Rapid Response 47. It has to do with President Trump.
Well, if they're in the files, I mean, sure. I mean, I care about anybody that's in the files, but I really don't fucking care about their other shit and about their family and all that, like their family life and who's who and all that shit. I don't follow it.
An interview that he did with 60 Minutes as he talked about the King and Queen visiting our nation's capital. It says this, POTUS says King Charles will be very safe at the White House. Quote, the White House grounds are really safe. He's a great guy. They called and they are so looking forward to being here. We spoke this morning.
All right. So that is the conclusion of this morning's news. So listen, I can't thank you guys enough for supporting the show, being here, engaging, hitting that like button. Goes a long way. Double tapping that screen if you're on the vertical side. And all of it, man, your donations. I'm very honored to be able to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, Saturday morning for members only, man. So listen, stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding, actually, Myron Gaines. He's live right now doing a lot of stuff with the war and shit like that. So make sure you guys go over there and check them out. Let them know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. Anyways, listen, much love, honor, respect to all of you legends. We'll see you guys here tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Until then, God bless, and we'll see you guys very soon. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his step, refusing to submit.